Hello, my gorgeous darlings, my beautiful bebés. Thank you for joining me again. Do you know, it's so lovely. I sometimes get these messages, and I'm sure you all do, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, you know, that you can buy followers, and I've always wondered about that actually, and I'm just so grateful to all 333 of you that follow me, because it's all with integrity and it's all grown organically. And to think I just set this up at the beginning of COVID and so many people would follow this. I'm so grateful to you all. And because I always forget to say please subscribe and or do a little thumbs up or spread the word, I always forget that bit. I think out of nearly 200 videos I've probably said it 5 times. In actual fact, my wonderful best friend who helps me with these things called algorithms, she said that sometimes I have 700,000 views a week, but I never say please subscribe. So I'm saying it now in a really, really lovely way, thanking those of you who already do. But it, you know, for me, if you know anybody who you think any of the many, many therapies I share on here, it could help them, please spread the word. You know, I just really want to reach as many people as possible and include as many people as possible. So, you know, I'm just so grateful, you know. And the other thing is, I'm getting really nervous because the National Diversity Awards, they'll be over and done with in just 2 weeks. And as I said to you on one of my other videos, because I didn't really want to make a separate video about it because it felt a bit weird, but I was shortlisted out of 55,000 people to be on about 6 or 7 different categories, 8 people in each, and I was shortlisted. So I've got to go to Liverpool Anglican Cathedral on the 4th of February when we all find out. But do you know what? Even though I haven't dared look at who's in my category as a positive role model, positive role model, oh my goodness, I always thought I was too badly behaved. But there we go, we learn through laughter, don't we, you know, and it's good to be a little bit off the wall and outside the lines, and I can only be me. As you know, these things never edited. But for me, I honestly can't wait, as much as I want this so badly, for the voice that I can help to give to all these kids everywhere and the changes I would love to make. To me, it's about meeting other people, and I'm going to be on fire regardless of what happens, because when you're surrounded by inspirational, motivational people, it just does something to your blood. It's like somebody's picked you up and given you a gigantic shake, like a bottle of champagne, and you're just buzzing for weeks afterwards. It makes you want to do more and be more and achieve more, and I love the whole thing. But I'm really, really, really super nervous, and I've got to wear a proper grown-up dress and everything, and I haven't done that. Do you know, I've not done that since I was, wow, I have not done that for a long, long time. So that's going to be quite exciting. And it would just be a little bit weird to be seen, because as you know, I like to be behind the kids and behind this sort of work where I can get it to you all. And it's a bit of a weird feeling that I'll just be me, because I've just been one little dynamite crazy rocket woman for the best part of 15 years, doing absolutely everything on my own with no team. So which is probably just as well, because they would have reined me in. Anyway, I promised myself today that I'm not going to drive you nuts with a ton of verbal diarrhea, because I'm terrible for talking. So I want to get on and share with you today some more really simple, easy, gentle yoga poses. It's for everybody, neurotypical people as well, for mental health. Hugely, massively fantastic, these few things I'm going to show you. But specifically, I'm sharing it for people with special needs, additional needs, special abilities, disabilities, whatever it is, autism, pathological demand avoidance, ADHD in particular, but also quite an unusual disease. I really hate all this disorders. It's all, our language around it has so got to change. It's horrible. But I want to share with you also, if your child or you yourself have a condition called RETTS syndrome, which is where you have very, very, very reduced mobility, very, very, very stiff limbs. And this yoga work I've done with kids with RETTS syndrome, and not only have we all been in tears, including me, because as you know, I'm massively professional and detached and very white coat, but I've actually had parents film their kids doing some of these simple yoga poses that I'm going to share with you today, assisted, but they're doing them. And these are things that doctors said they would never, ever, ever be capable of doing. And they're now seeing the proof. So, you know, just remember the power of that word yet. You know, if you can't do something, all it means is you can't do something yet. And that word, that 3-letter word, has really been a massive, massive word. I keep saying massive today. I'm feeling massive even though I'm tiny. You know, it's been a huge word right throughout my life. And we all have journeys. We all have stories. And some of you may know that parts of mine have been far from ordinary. And I remember when I'd be told, you can't do this, you can't do that, you'll never do that. I used to look, and from my belly, from my core, from my soul, I'd think, yet. And do you know, it's a strength. It's like a red rag to a bull. I thought, you wait, you wait. Anyway, let's get on with some yoga because I love it and I do it every day. This is very, very simple. Today, at least I'm not wearing high-heeled boots because I really was in a massive rush the other day. So I do apologise to proper, you know, yogis. I mean, I'm one, but unfortunately that day I was in a rush and I had to do it in high-heeled glass Italian boots and another day in some 60s boots. But, you know, I just think this is something you can do anywhere. You know, you don't need tons of gear and spend a fortune. You can do yoga anywhere, preferably not in high-heeled boots and preferably not on a massage bed. But because I sound like Billy No Mates, because none of my 4 children are here at the moment, at school and so on, and I have nobody to record me and I don't know how to record myself on the floor, I'm doing it here so that you can see me like I did last week. So I'm waiting for the streams of complaints. Do not do this at home, do it on the floor, or do it sitting in a chair. You can do it sitting in a chair because everything I'm going to show you is seated anyway. So, you know, I wouldn't do it on a hard floor, but just a carpeted floor is lovely, or a rug, you know, and just be in comfortable clothes. You do not need to rush out and buy leggings and yoga gear and just, you don't. You really, really don't. You know, on this level I'm sharing with you, you just don't. And I don't when I'm doing yoga. The only reason I'm wearing a dress is because I've got a meeting with a charity in about half an hour. I'm probably speaking really quickly as well because of that. But what I did do was put on some really, whoa, I nearly fell off. Really big, thick tights, look. They like leggings, so there will be nothing inappropriate going on. Okay, I'm just reassuring you so that nobody needs to grab the Valium or book in some counselling somewhere. You know, the last thing I want to do is put you all in trauma. So it's very appropriate, apart from the bed bit, but you're going to do it on the floor or in a chair. So the first thing I'm going to start off with is the butterfly. See, I'm getting on with it now. I promised you I'd be good today. So the butterfly is where you press the soles of your feet together and you just put your hands over them. And it's deeply, deeply relaxing because you're opening up the lungs, you're boosting immunity, you're helping that breathing. So if you can, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Breathing is an integral part of yoga. So just remember to breathe. So, and it's a really lovely one, this, and everything just drops and calms. And when I've worked with people I work with a little girl who's got ADHD and she's absolutely mad on frogs. So I'll often say to her, right, we'll call this one the frog one. So rather than the butterfly, we call it the frog because it's engaging her, it's inviting her, it's empowering her to name the poses. So, you know, you can make it fun. You can really, really make this fun and not just a routine. if you have somebody who you need to assist with the yoga, what I do is, even in academies where, you know, I've got to have a full-on apron, latex gloves, you know, I feel like a surgeon, not a therapist, but you have to go with the flow. I will literally sit behind somebody with my legs out, rest their backs against me, and that must be lovely. You know, if you spend your life in a wheelchair, to be lifted out and to feel that softness behind you, to just relax your back and to gently have your legs put together. And, you know, if there's some resistance, just go as far as they can. If you've got somebody who's non-verbal, their body will tell you when it hurts or when they don't want to do it. And read that like a blind person reads Braille. Read the body, feel the body. You know, your energies are flowing together, and that's what this is all about. You're meeting them where they are. But there's one particular little girl I work with who has RETTS syndrome, and she will just lie her back against my back, and she'll often tuck her head up and look at me, which just makes me melt, by the way. And I'll just gently get her legs, and she very easily now, after several weeks, very easily now, she will put the soles of her feet together, and I put my arms around her and we put her hands on her feet, and she can do the butterfly, you know. And she's another one whose mum has recorded her just to show doctors that actually these myths are myths. That's exactly what they are. And that, you know, it's just that somebody can't do something yet. So, and it really, really, really has helped, you know, with the breathing, with the teeth grinding, with everything. This regular practice of yoga has massively, massively helped. So you can do this and assist somebody, and you can do this on a friends and family basis. You just sit behind them with your legs either side of them, and their backs against you, and you just help to gently bend and let the soles of the feet meet. So it's really, really gentle, and they can feel you doing that breathing. I demonstrated in a video about 1.5 years ago, you know, that back-to-back breathing, and automatically that oxytocin is flowing, that love and nurture, that safe touch. You know, immunity is being boosted. If they're breathing rapidly, their breathing will drop to your level of breathing, because they can feel your breath. They can feel your heart through their back. So in many, many ways, even if you have a neurotypical child, it's a beautiful, bonding, trusting thing to do. So from there, I'm going to go into, I call it the banana, but I just cross my legs. If they're not happy to cross their legs, or they can't, they can have their legs in front of them, out straight. So, and what I do is we put our hands in the air, and then we just lean to the side. And I often call this one banana, just as a joke really, but I just call this one the banana, because I think it's really nice for the kids to give things their own names. But, you know, you might have a child who's passionate about space. So it could be, you know, you're looking at the moon and then you're taking off in a rocket. You know, find what their passion is. It's not a fixation, it's a passion. Find what their passion is. Meet them where they are. Get them to name the poses, and they will be so engaged with you. You know, I've worked a lot with kids with pathological demand avoidance, and the worst thing you can possibly do is say, right, do the banana, you know, make it a routine. They're not going to want to do that. So their passion, their song, get that, meet them where they are, and get them to do this. And then from there we can go into the reclining twist. This is where you spin. So you literally, where's the reclining twist really? So you just go like this. Then I'm going to go on to the spinning one. So you're just doing one arm at a time. So instead of doing both arms together, you're doing one at a time. And again, if somebody has mobility issues, sit behind them with their legs in behind, especially on a friends and family basis, and just help them lift their arms over their heads. But make sure that you and them are breathing really, really deeply. And you will find that if they're very, very stressed, or even if you are very, very stressed, just doing this together or opposite each other, or getting them to mirror you on a Zoom call, so you're giving them the tools to use, you're empowering them, the benefits are massive. So from there, we're going to go into another one, and this is where I'm going to spin a bit. So you put your hand flat on the floor behind you, and then you just spin and put your other hand there. If your hand can't meet the floor, because obviously you're not doing it on a bed because you're not naughty like me, it doesn't matter. Just go as far as you can. Just go as far as you can. I work with a lot of kids who have reduced mobility, and I always say your hand just isn't going there yet, but in time it will. And you just repeat this, and what you're doing is you're massaging the gut, the second brain, the enteric brain, which houses so much of our dopamine and serotonin, the seat of meltdown. You're easing it, you're releasing it. Elimination issues around toileting, you're easing that. For non-verbal kids who stuff a lot down, you're helping them process that in a way that they're in control of, just by doing this simple exercise. And again, they can mirror you, do it next to you, because I always, every time I work with anybody, whatever they're doing, I do it with them, because you're meeting them on a level. You're not being someone doing something for them or to them. I want them to take this home and do it. And if it's on a Zoom session, you know, how wonderful. And I've even done it for kids who have got COVID on Zoom sessions, because obviously yoga, like touch, hugely boosts immunity. So once they're up to it, we'll get that gut going, get that seat of immunity right here in the solar plexus, get that on fire. Give this flipping COVID a blimming good bashing. And then from there, you can even go into, I call it swaying trees. So I've got a group of boys who I see, and they're mad on nature. So we'll go off and do crazy scavenger hunts. Doesn't matter if it's winter, doesn't matter if it's raining, it's only weather. And it just means you get to find more exciting things. And we will often do a little bit of yoga right in the middle of a wood, right in the middle of a park, right in the middle of a playground, you know. And it doesn't have to be swaying trees. You know, there was a girl I worked with a few years ago who was non-verbal. And I worked with her for many, many weeks, and we do lots and lots of things like this. And I noticed how her body just flowed like a ribbon. It was like she was boneless, like she was made of air. It was quite something to see. And I remember bringing music in, because I thought, there's something here. There's something here. Her body is like liquid. So I brought some music in, because I'd noticed she'd had a stack of, it was CDs she'd had, and a little CD player, because it was a residential place. And I brought in some music on my speaker, and I played it, and she took the yoga onto a whole new level and began spinning and twirling around the room. And I'm telling you now, you can't see because I've got big thick jumper on, I am and was covered in goose pimples. I feel like I've even got them in my hair right now. It was stunning. And I thought, bingo, there it is. There's your communication. That's your song. This is your gift. You know, this is what you can do. And she went on to enroll in dance classes, and she took off, you know, and it's all because every time you do anything, you're meeting someone where they are. And that's so powerful. And it's a powerful learning for you too. I learn every day. So from there, I'm going to go into the boat. And this is why I say, when you're doing it on the floor, because you're not a naughty one like me, get a cushion. You know, if you're quite, because I'm quite little, petite. So if I did it on the floor, I'd need more than a mat underneath me, because my tailbone would dig in the floor and probably leave a dent. So have a nice rug, you know, get cozy, get comfortable. And it's called the boat, but you could call it the rocking chair. A child might have a favourite chair at home. But you lift your legs up like this. They can steady themselves with their hands and put their legs under here, and you're just sitting back on that tailbone. And do you know something? It looks really uncomfortable. I can see myself on the camera, and it does look really uncomfortable. But you know, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous because it's grounding. Your tailbone's on the floor. Your knees are massaging your gut. You know, you're breathing. And I will very often sit like this just to be comfortable. I'll just sit like this. You know, I'll often, even if there's chairs around, I'm nearly always on a beanbag or the floor, and I'm either cross-legged or sat like this. And I love it. It's absolutely so comfortable. And again, you can do this assisted by sitting behind somebody. So it's fully accessible to everybody, you know. And it's gorgeous because for people who are used to being not having that much mobility, to be held, you know, to not have a hard surface behind them, to have that oxytocin, that serotonin, that bond, that trust. For many of the kids I work with, it's the first safe touch they've ever experienced. I mean, how powerful is that? You know, it's really, really moving, and just has so many neuroscientific benefits. So as with all my therapies, everything I ever do, if somebody has opened up, whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally, and it's usually a combination of all three, even by doing exercises, you know, there's no need for words. So much is said and expressed through the body and through touch. I close them down afterwards, because I like everybody to know they've been held at the beginning, right the way through, right to the end, and that they've been safe and they're protected, and they leave me feeling able to cope and function, empowered, but also protected, because our self-protection is a good thing. And I wouldn't send anyone away from me wide open. I just wouldn't do it. I need people to be safe. So we're going to finish with something called the easy pose, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. It's literally, you just cross your legs and you just put your hands on them like this. You could put them that way. I like it this way. But if you some people sit like this. But, you know, there's no need to whiz out your mat and start doing that, you know. There's no offence to anybody, but this is just on a friends and family, very accessible basis. And, do you know, I just love putting my hands on my knees as well, because my hands go really warm. And it's a safe, gorgeous feeling. You've opened up the gut, you've opened up the lungs. And just by gravity alone, you know, everything is dropping. The energy drops. And you don't even need to do anything particularly to make that happen. So it's really grounding and a beautiful way to close. And again, you know, kids with RETTS syndrome, kids with very reduced mobility, stiff joints, you know, you're behind them and they're leant against you, and I often will put my hands over theirs, because it's that oxytocin again. It's that I've got you, I'm holding you, you're safe. So I really hope those things have helped. If you want to check out the poses, and you can freely download them, or just look at them off your screen, if you go on later today or throughout the week onto www.annakennedy.online.com, I write for her every week. Anna Kennedy, it's an autism charity. Every single Monday I write for her as her wellbeing ambassador. So all my videos are always accompanied by the neuroscience, a small 1 or 2 minute read, free article, and very often some diagrams, so that you don't have to cram in, along with the migraine tablets, everything I've tried to share with you in a short space of time. Anyhow, my darlings, I've got such a lovely day. I'm jumping on a Zoom call now to another really wonderful charity. And I just wish you all a really warmly blessed and beautiful week. We're halfway through winter, you know, how quick is that going? Little buds are appearing everywhere. And I really, really, really hope, and I don't mean this in a really cliched way, because I know how hard things are, but there are little buds, you know, little buds, and buds represent the word yet. So, you know, we are going to get there. We just haven't quite made it through yet, but we will. And have a wonderful week, everybody, and I will see you next week. Tons of